and welcome to Pregnancy Yoga for the lower back. This is a sequence that you can do in your second and third trimester of pregnancy. And once you've been given the go ahead by your doctor or midwife to go ahead and do some exercise, uh, most people will experience some form of lower backache while they're pregnant. So that's why I put together this sequence that you can do every day if possible to help ease out that lower backache. So we'll just begin. So actually, for this practice, you're going to need a little blanket or cushion and/or cushion and a belt. I have a yoga belt here, but any old belt that you have in your cupboard at home will do just fine. Okay, so if it's comfortable for you, take this seated cross-legged position, easy pose. And I have my blanket rolled up here and I'm sitting on it to elevate my hips. So that's a really good idea. You could also sit up against the wall for extra support. And especially if you are feeling that lower backache, it's going to be a bit more helpful. So you could take a kneeling position or you could sit with your legs straight out as well if that felt more comfortable. Just make sure that you're sitting nice and upright. So root down through your sit bones and then lengthen up through your spine. Soften your shoulders. Bring your hands onto your bump and just take a moment to take about 3 nice deep breaths. So close your eyes gently. Breathe in through your nose and then slowly out through your mouth. It's as if you have a straw between your lips. Inhale and exhale. One more. And then open your eyes. And we'll begin moving with a sequence called open heart, open back. So this is more to get into the upper back, but sometimes the stiffness in the upper back and chest can contribute to the problems in the lower back. So interlock your fingers, send your palms away from you, and purposely round in your upper back a little bit. So let the shoulder blades slide apart here. And then as you breathe, imagine you're sending your inhale right to that space between the shoulder blades and you'll feel a little stretch there. So let those shoulder blades slide apart even more, and then as you exhale, let go. 2 or 3 more of those breaths. Last one now, inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands and bring them behind your back so you're straightening back up again now. Interlock your fingers behind your back. Draw the fronts of the shoulders all the way back here. See if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together. If not, don't worry about it. See if you can straighten the elbows together or come as close to that as you can. It might not straighten completely, that's fine. And now breathe. And as you breathe, I want you to try and feel it all across the chest here. So that nice opening. Breathing into the heart space, feeling a stretch in the pec muscles. But be mindful of the lower back, so keep softening in the tailbone without slouching. You don't want to slouch down, but soften the tailbone. Don't overextend the lower back. One more breath in. And as you breathe out, release the hands. Okay, so release the legs for a moment. Take a couple of ankle circles. Just you can rotate the ankles one way. You can have your hands on the floor for a bit of support as you do that. And then go back the opposite direction. Just giving the legs a little bit of a break, just help with the circulation in the feet and ankles. And then we're going to cross the legs again the opposite way. So whatever way you had them before, try and remember and have the opposite ankle in front. Still sitting up nice and tall, rooting through the sit bones. We're going to do some seated pelvic tilts. So you'll start with the hands on the knees. Exhale and round your spine. Let your spine round in and bring your chin to your chest. So you're giving your baby a little hug into your body here. And then inhale, moving in the opposite direction now, expand Open up across the chest and look up. So exhale, rounding. Inhale, expanding. I'm going to bring the arms in now, so it's the same movement but with the arms. Exhale, bring the fronts of the hands together in front, look inwards. Inhale, open up, look up like you're about to give someone a big hug. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Keep going now at your own pace. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing at a different angle. You want to make sure that as you're doing this, it all feels nice and fluid, free flowing. The lower back feels comfortable. Don't go too far into the arching of the lower back. 2 more rounds. Last one. And release your hands down. So we're going to come to all fours now. So you'll want to release your legs out in front and then bring your knees to one side and your feet to the other. So it's kind of important when you're pregnant to keep your knees together like this when you're coming up. And then you can use your blanket under your knees for that little bit of extra support because the joints do tend to be a little bit more unstable during pregnancy. Totally normal. Bring the hands to the floor and make sure that they are under your shoulders, the wrists are under your shoulders. Spread out your fingers. Now, if your wrists are tender, you can double up your mat. If they're still tender, you can always do everything we do on all fours, you can do on your fists like this, or you can come up onto your fingertips if that feels better. So we're going to exhale into cat again. So it's similar to the seated pelvic tilt, but in all fours. Chin comes to the chest, you give your baby a little hug in, press the floor away from you. Inhale as you come back just to neutral. Exhale. Inhale. As you inhale, your gaze comes back towards the top of the mat. Keep moving at your own pace. Keep it again nice and fluid. This movement may feel subtle, but it is an excellent stretch for all the muscles of the back. It will relieve tension from the neck, the mid-spine and the lower back, and even down into the glutes. So it's something that you should try doing every day if you're having lower back issues. I would try and do the whole sequence every day. But if there was just one pose that I could do in the day, it would be this one. 2 more rounds. Last one. Excellent. Come into a kneeling position now. We'll just give the wrists a little break. So just roll around in one direction, nice wrist circles, and then back in the other direction. And then we're going to come back onto all fours for our next pose, which is all fours hip circles. So have your knees maybe a little bit wider apart, maybe bring the hands forward a little bit more, and then start with your bum back near your heels. Start to circle now your hips over to the right, up towards your right wrist, over towards your left wrist, and back down. So a nice circle, just moving in a way that feels comfortable for you. So the breathing is inhaling through your nose as you circle up, and then exhaling a nice sighing breath as you move back down. So it should feel really lovely, really juicy in the lower back, really nice, like it's easing out those aches and pains. But as you continue on here, try to make sure that you keep the shoulders nice and soft. We don't want tension to build up anywhere else in the body. Keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. Keep focusing on those nice deep exhales. This is a fantastic pose for labour as well. Many women use this movement through their contractions. One more. And then back in the opposite direction. And it might feel different moving in the opposite direction. Just observe any of those differences, any changes. Keep using those sighing breaths, or use any other noises as you breathe out. If you feel like moaning, if you feel like groaning, you might feel like doing any of those when you're in labour, so you can get used to using those sounds in your pregnancy. And it sends all the right signals to your brain. Everything is okay, I can relax. One more. And then after those hip circles, it's really nice to move into a child's pose. I'm just going to move the blanket here. Unless you need it under your knees. If you need it under your knees, you can keep it. Go for a nice wide leg child's pose if that's comfortable for you. So your big toes are touching, your knees are wide apart. I was going to show you an alternative to that in a moment if you're not comfortable bringing the knees apart. So you have a couple of choices. If you're earlier in your pregnancy, you can bring your head all the way down. If you're experiencing heartburn, or if that's not comfortable and you don't have enough space, you can stay up on your forearms like this. Keep the shoulders soft and relaxed though. You could also bring your thumbs to the center of your eyebrows here and just release out here, running the thumbs along the eyebrows. Or you can stack your fists, one on top of the other, and rest your forehead here. And the alternative position I was going to show you is knees to chest. So if it's just not comfortable having the knees apart, come up a little bit higher like this with your hips over your knees and your head relaxed. So whichever position you're in now, just really focus on taking a few deep breaths and sending that breath to the lower back, feeling a nice release out here. For one more breath. And then look up, use your hands to support you. Come up to a kneeling position. You're going to probably need your blanket again for this one. And place a blanket or a cushion under your knees. And step your right leg forward. So I'm just going to turn so you can see me better, but you can stay facing the long end of your mat. So right knee comes forward. You can use your left hand for balance. Bring your hands to your hips here. Make sure that your right ankle is underneath your right knee. Take a breath in, relax the shoulders. And as you exhale, you might glide forward a little bit. So the knee should always go in the same direction as the toes. So I'm just going to move back a little bit because I don't have enough space here. That's better. So glide forward to a position that you can hold. If you're experiencing pain of any kind, just come back up. There's still a good bit of work going on here, so you don't have to be gone very far forward. Whatever position you're in, hold. If you've got a good bit of a bump going on already, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but you can walk your foot out to the side so that you have more space. But the knee should still be going in the direction of the toes. Then bring your hands to your heart. Take a breath. And then we're going to release the hands. Inhale, raise them up. Keep looking straight ahead. Reach up with the hands though. Exhale, bring the palms to the center of the chest. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. And exhale. Bring your hands back to your hips or your thigh and release back up. Now you're going to wiggle that right leg back. You can bring the left hand down to the floor for support. Swap over with that support and bring the left leg forward. Place the ankle under the knee to begin. Walk the foot out to the side if you need more space. Hands to the thigh or to your hips. Inhale. And then exhale, gliding forward a little, sending the knee in the same direction as the toe. So that's really important that the knee doesn't drop into the side like this, that it keeps tracking in that direction. Now, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale. Exhale, softening your tailbone right down. Now, release the hands. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now bring your hands back to your thighs or your hips and lift back up. Okay, so we're going to come to a standing pose now. So it's a good idea to come from a lunge pose. So bring that front foot a little bit closer. Hook your back toes under, and then with your hands on your left thigh, straighten that back leg. This way you come up, it's all in the legs, you're not putting any pressure on the lower back. And then just bring the feet together, and you can just instead of bending down again, you just kick away any blanket or cushion that's on your mat. And we're going to finish today with a standing pose called standing pelvic tilts. Now I've done 3 different types of pelvic tilts in this video, but that's because pelvic tilts are a really good way of easing out backache in pregnancy, and you can never do too many. So bring your feet about hip distance apart, or maybe a bit wider, especially as you progress through your pregnancy, whatever feels nice and stable for you, with your feet pointing towards the front of your mat. So not out to the side or not pointing inwards, just straight ahead. Spread out those toes. Ground through the balls of your feet, the balls of your feet, especially under your big toe and your baby toe. Ground through your heels, and then release the toes back onto the floor nice and lightly. Bring your hands to your hips. Bend your knees, bring that softness in. So that softness in the knees will mean that it'll be nice and fluid and soft around the lower back as well when you start to tilt the pelvis. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the tilt more easily. So as you exhale, you're going to round, so tilt the pelvis back, so there's a lift, your bump will lift up and in, and your chin comes to your chest. And then as you inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, not too much, you don't want to feel aggravation in the lower back, just a little bit, but really arch into the mid and upper spine and look up. So it's exhale, inhale. Keeping as much of a bend or as little of a bend as you need to maintain that fluidity in the lower back. So it's exhale, inhale. I'm bringing the arms in, it's exhale, inhale. I'm going to turn back now. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. We're going to do about 3 more rounds, but you're going to go at your own pace, synchronizing with your own natural breath pattern. One more. Release the hands back onto the hips and straighten up the legs. So we're going to finish here in Tadasana, mountain pose, feet still facing straight ahead, still in that same hip width distance or wider position. And we're going to inhale, raise the arms up, reaching up, but you can keep gazing straight ahead. And then exhale, releasing the hands down. And one more time, inhale. And this time, bring your hands to prayer position on the exhale. Namaste. So thank you very much for joining me for this practice for lower backache in pregnancy. If you are suffering from lower backache, I would highly recommend that you try and do the practice every day, and let me know how you get on. Thank you.